Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've been looking for an app which can track my portfolio, which can do fundamental analysis, which can do technical analysis, which has information about sectors, which has econometric information. So pretty much like an app which does it all. For the past few weeks and months, I was trying to automate and to dump all of this kind of data into Python and make some sense out of it, or using tools that I've talked before like Screener, TradingView, TickerTape, blah blah blah. I stumbled upon in my Zerodha console a section which is powered by this app called Tijori. These guys are either backed by folks at Rainmeter Foundation or they just love the product that they decided to include a view of it. So what I'm going to do is show you what this app does from an analysis perspective. I have a paid version for it, but I believe you can do a lot of stuff around it. Let's start with searching for a company. So HDFC Bank has been under a lot of radar of lately because of the price and all that. I'm not going to go into portfolio tracking and all that. It's fundamentally very same, and I don't want to get into sharing my portfolio right now. However, let's take a look at how it presents the information and how can it be relevant to you. Right off the bat, you have options to create an alert, and you can do a lot of couple of basic conditions like the technical conditions, and this could create an alert. And I haven't tried creating alerts, but it's fundamentally as any other alert would be. In the overview section, you have a company timeline which is present on the right hand side. You can see all updates about the company, and they'll show you some Twitter feed, some business analysis coming from different sources, tons of different sources. They're tapped into very right sources, and I'll talk about that shortly. So you can see all that information here. You can look at the price chart and valuation, PE, price to sales, price to book, etc. What's interesting is you can just add the peers, and it's very smart and plugs the right comparisons automatically. So it will show you how it's faring against SBI or ICICI Bank for the matter, how is the price differential and all of that. It's also interesting that it automatically changes from numbers to percentages if you see, and it tries to show the line, from a comparison perspective, if it's above or below. You can obviously change some of these settings, but not all. TGI Bank is a index that they have created. This is not the traditional index, but these guys have created their own indexes, and they are very transparently sharing the index methodology. They talk about how they are calculating the weight of the company, and this is basically some sort of a benchmarking exercise that they're doing across segments because they needed to they needed some way of doing sector analysis, and creating benchmarks is a great starting point. So they have pretty much indexes for a lot of different stuff, which would be useful if you want to do analysis. And then you can get into some forensics, which is fundamentally some key critical information about the company. Then you have market share information, you have revenue mix. Once you click on the source, as I was saying, they'll show you all the consolidated information that they've picked from reliable sources. It's, stamped and all, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the source is, but uh, looks authentic enough to me. Some of them are from HDFC Bank itself. And you can do a lot of historic analysis here. You can do see the latest. This is different segments, and it's very smart to show different segments per different categories and companies. So for example, it shows that retail banking is 38.1%, wholesale banking is 29.3%, insurance is good chunk, treasury and others are different. And then they go into loan breakup priority, loan breakup non-banking. Then they show you operational matrices like, for example, gross NPA. I was really interested in banking NPA, so I went and compared it with every other, well, bank, pretty much the big ones. And you can very clearly see that HDFC Bank has maintained a decent NPA compared to other players in the market, specifically around a certain time period. Now, what the reason is, you cannot assess from this, but you can definitely see different parameters, gross, net, credit deposit ratios, etc. Do tons of peer comparisons here. I'm not going to get into that. For different categories of banking, different segments of banking that HDFC provides, then suppliers of the company filing information, etc., etc. You can get into valuation, as I was saying. Then, oh, we have already seen all of this. Financials are very interesting. You can see price, growth table, P&L statement, cash flow analysis, key ratios, and something which I've rarely seen is a reverse DCF, which is a tool and technique used to calculate valuations, and you can learn how to use reverse DCF here. Fundamentally good if you want to understand and calculate the intrinsic value of the stock. Then they get into benchmarking, then they get into shareholding, tons of crazy information that you can. So very, very good from a research perspective. Let's get into a different segment called sector research. So when you take any sector, right, let's take NBFC, what they'll do is they will showcase it to you compared to some of their benchmark indexes, which I was just talking about, and then present the data across that. So how is the sector dealing with housing loan? How is the sector dealing with, some credit scores, etc.? What are the different segments wise that you have here? It looks like there's housing, there's real estate, vehicle finance, consumer SM, microfinance, etc. So you can use this to study different sectors in a very good way. You have a very strong market monitor which shows you extremely nice, I think more of a return calculation, annualized return calculation across tons of different indexes and niches. So all of the indexes that they have created like a 5 year and all stuff like that. So for example, you can see hospitality is 28%. You can most likely do sorting, etc. So railways is, I don't know, 50%. You can click on the plus button and you'll be able to see what companies constitute here. You can see good companies in this space. Like I was not aware of whatever this company is, Jupiter Wagons, and you can click on it. You can do the analysis, and looks like a great, good company. Yeah, pretty much on the rise. Like a lot of government-backed companies, PSUs for past 1 or 2 years, and this could be the same. Looks like a brother of IRFC to me, in some way or the other. Yeah, it was around 21, 22, 30 rupees, and now it's gone. So you can use this to quickly find interesting companies in a certain segment and try and detail and deep dive into it. So that's a very, very good research tool from a market research perspective. Then you can also move into macro study. It will show you by industry. For example, you can look at crude oil production, different demand-based industries like credit card transaction values, personal loans, GST collections, etc., etc. You can click any of them and it will show you historical information, etc. You can get into GDP and trade, which will also show you how things have been performing over certain categories. You can deep dive into FDI, and it gives you a lot of research and analysis options. So I've talked about sector, macro I have just talked about. What else is there? Raw materials. Yeah, raw materials is another. So I think I forgot. So when they talk about indexes, they also have a commodity section where they are really, really showing a very deep analysis of different raw materials, the spreads around each of them, how the metals are behaving, how the chemicals are behaving, etc., etc. So if you're a commodity trader, this could be a really, really useful data for you. Watch list. You can obviously create watch lists. I don't have any watch lists right now, so it's empty for me. And yeah, you can do basic filters like screeners would do. So for example, if you want to get some popular query, like you can do querying here, by the way. There's a lot of public queries available, very much like a screener. So let's say you want strong fundamentals with FII, DII buying and retail selling, which means that these are the companies where FIIDIs are buying, institutional investors fundamentally, and retail are selling. And this could be happening for a variety of reasons. One is that this pressure being created in the market to sell off so that FIIDIs can gain and market makers can make money, etc., etc. So you get some companies from that perspective. You could go to public queries for that matter. Price near 10 time high, growing small cap, whatever is this. And you can edit the query, and it's very much like a screener.com, but you can use it. So what they have done is, now to think of it, they have consolidated tons of different tools into one single website. So you have a single platform for searching and doing all analysis, which is why I ended up paying for it, and which is why I think that this is a very, very interesting app from an analysis perspective. Is it complete? No. What I would have loved to see more is more detailed insights into my portfolio management. Probably also be able to track historical data. They can do it, but the setup isn't very nice. You have to download order books and upload it. Ideally, I would have expected them to just query APIs and all of that. Graphing and charting could be much better. They could do a little better into the trade journaling kind of a stuff. And then from a research and analysis perspective also, I would have wanted to see more macroeconomic related information present here. I mean, they have some numbers present here, but they don't really have analysis to they don't have insights. They're throwing a lot of data to you, but they're not showcasing you insights. I really like the way that they have given indexes, which are more of an insight from my perspective, but I would have expected, or it would have been nice to see maybe that's on their roadmap. All right, so Tijori, I think all in all is a great tool, totally worth paying. I think they are like, let me just log out and see what's the pricing. I think it's some sort of 300 or so some dollars. Sorry, rupees, my bad. 330 rupees a month, 3,500 a year. Not bad, and you can track multiple accounts. You can do all of this stuff from a fundamental research perspective. So, super nice. I'm pretty sure they have a roadmap. When you go to your portfolio, they'll show you something like this, like net worth, and they'll show you all the companies, what is happening in those companies, etc., etc. It's a good view. I found it pretty useless. Uh, if I have already bought in, I am not interested in tracking news about it in this form. I would rather want to study the impact of it. So maybe they could have shown me sentiments as to how this is influencing or impacting something, and that data would have been much more useful for me. With that, this is Akash signing off. If you have liked the tool, please do check it out. This was not a paid post. I think I should have mentioned it before. Till then, please subscribe. Bye bye.